Blessings and peace to you. This is SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is Thursday, January 11, 2024. Another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. And as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen. When you focus on what is good, if you are focusing on the negative things that are not beneficial, then guess what? It's not beneficial. That's right. Negative things are not beneficial. We can learn from negative things, but if you are sitting around focusing on all the negative things, it's not beneficial. It's not beneficial. Think of one good thing that could come from just sitting around thinking negative. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing comes from sitting around thinking negative. So, focus on what is good. If you're out there traveling about on this beautiful sunny day on the East Coast, I don't know what the weather looks like on the West Coast, but I know it's sunny in a lot of places on the East Coast in the U.S. So if you're out there traveling about today, make sure you say a prayer, keep yourself safe, and keep your family members safe. Make sure you are not distracted by being on your phone. Why? Because it is important to pay attention to what is going on in your environment. So, keep yourself safe and keep your family members safe. I don't know what that interference was that just came in. But anyway, if you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor, or you can give at Venmo at SB Favor. Once again, if you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $SB Favor, or you can give at Venmo at SB Favor. And if you would like to give donations by mail, please contact me at sbfavor@yahoo.com, and I will provide information for you to send donations via mail. So thank you so much for your support and your donations. Well, I do have an inspirational quote for you, and the inspirational quote is: don't allow a negative mindset to make you miss your blessings. See through optimism. I'm going to read that inspirational quote again. Don't allow a negative mindset make you miss your blessings. See through optimism. What am I talking about? Seeing through optimism. What is that? When you are focused all day, every day, you will have the ability to understand what is happening in the moment. Now, I'm not talking about acting like a robot and trying to be perfect. That's not what I'm talking about, because none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. We all do things and we fall short. But what I am talking about is be focused in the moment as you live throughout your days and your day, to understand the importance of maintaining your thought life. Because everything that you think can affect something. It can affect you. It can affect the people that you love. Why? Because thoughts become actions. Thoughts become actions, and thoughts become emotions. Yes, thoughts become emotions, because if you sit and you think about something long enough, if you think about something sad, then what happens after that? You start feeling sad. If you think about something that is so happy, something you experienced years ago, and it was just such a happy moment, and you could think about all the joy you experience in that moment, all of that energy, all of that awesome joy from that moment, it starts to revisit you in this very moment because you are thinking about something that is joyful. So, maintaining your thought life has everything to do with understanding what you should be thinking and what you should not be thinking about. As I stated a minute ago, we all have fallen short of doing different things. We've made mistakes. We all sometimes, unfortunately, have negative thoughts. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to sit and become a sponge to negative thoughts. You don't have to become a sponge to negative energy that wants to suck the life out of you. You don't want to become a sponge to the things you don't need. You want to become a sponge to everything that makes you better. You want to become a sponge to everything that helps you to be higher, brighter. You want to be better. And when I say better, I'm talking about elevating and growing every single day. When we focus on the negative things, we have negative perceptions if we focus on negative things. I'm going to give you an example of something that happened recently. I had a friend, she called me up recently and she said to me, I was out taking care of some business and I needed to contact customer service at this office she was visiting and she needed to solve a problem. Well, when she walked into the office, she looked at everybody in the room and she looked at the customer service reps that were working and she basically looked at each person and decided who she wanted to help her and who she didn't want to help her. But then she said, she prayed and said, Lord, please have the right person help me today. And so there was one gentleman she looked at. And when she looked at this gentleman, in her mind, she said, I don't want him to help me. In her mind, she just did not want this gentleman to help her. Well, by the time she got called upon to receive help for her problem, the person she didn't want to help her was the person that became her blessing. So the gist of what I'm saying is this. We laughed about how she judged him. We laughed about how she was thinking negative. We laughed about it because after she went through all of that, she said, I had to go to God and say, Lord, please forgive me for thinking that way about that young man. We laughed about it. And when I listened to every word she said, I started thinking, wow, I've done the same thing. Yes, I've done the same thing. I was out at an airport and this lady, she was being nice to me. And because the way she was looking at me, I didn't know what she was going to do or say as she was approaching me. So I started thinking, oh boy, I hope she's not racist. I hope, what is her problem? I started thinking like that. Well, anyway, this woman, she walked up to me and she said, hi, how are you today? So in that moment, I said to myself, wow, that quick negative thought could have made me look at that woman the wrong way. So what I'm saying is this. Don't allow a negative mindset to make you miss your blessings. Maintenance your thought life as much as you know how, Be aware of what you are thinking and what you are focusing on daily. Thinking negative, unfortunately, is something that happens to all of us. It comes to us. Negative thoughts come to us. But in that moment when you have a negative thought, you get to decide if you're going to agree with it or disagree with that thought. The problem is when a person has a negative thought, they think about the thought ongoing. Not only agreeing with the negative thought, now the negative thought becomes a whole house in your mind. For an example, you could think that somebody don't like you at work or someone you met. If you're thinking, oh, she doesn't like me, she doesn't like me, she doesn't like me. If you sit and think about that for 7 days, and this person, you've never spent time with this person, you've never have given this person an opportunity to explain or know anything about them. But yet, you sat and you thought all these negative things about this person. Then all of a sudden the person comes into your presence and they are the sweetest person you could ever be around. But you sat and thought to yourself for 7 days, oh, I don't like this person. This person doesn't like me. Then when you are in that person's presence, you're acting all strange based upon the negative energy you created over the last 7 days. Now you're in this person's presence and they're feeling all this weird energy, this weird spirit because of all of your negative thinking. So, it is important to maintenance your thought life as often as you can, being aware of what you are thinking, being aware of what you are agreeing with in your mind. We shouldn't be judging people without knowing all the facts. We shouldn't be misunderstanding something we have not discussed. We should be able to see ourselves in the moment based upon our faults and what we're doing and what we're not doing. When we have a focus that way on what is important in the moment, then we get to see, we get to hear, and we get to understand. You get to see, hear, and understand all the things that will help you to be a better you. Because when you are focused on the negative things, and that's all you can think of day by day, just focus on this negative thing and that negative thing. If you're focused on all those things, then you are creating negative energy. When someone is in your presence, give them an experience of that part of you that is so awesome, that is so good, that is so blessed. Give that person an experience. Because when you give someone an experience that is so good, so blessed, so loving, so caring, then you will help them to be loving and more caring. If you give someone a bad experience of you, then what happens is you're just exchanging or influencing someone to have negative energy or negative spirit. You don't want that, do you? No, you don't. You don't want that. So, don't allow a negative mindset to make you miss your blessings. See through optimism. How do you see through optimism? Well, you see through optimism by focusing on what is good. Even in the midst of something that could be really, really negative, you still can focus on what is good. Yes, you can acknowledge what is happening. You can acknowledge the problem, but immediately focus on the solution. That's right. You can acknowledge the problem and immediately focus on the solution. Because if you focus on the problem too long, now the problem becomes a problem, not just being a problem itself. Now it becomes a problem to you being a problem for the problem. A problem becomes a problem. In other words, you don't become the solution for the problem. You become more of a problem. And the problem expands. Instead of the problem becoming smaller, it will expand. So focus on the solution and not the problem. A lot of times in my life when I'm going through something personally and it's something happening that's out of my control, I always tell myself this: all things are working out for me. I don't care what it is. I don't care how bad it is. I say to myself, all things are working out for me. When my mother passed away in 2021 on September 7th, and my daughter was scheduled to be married on September 21st, guess what? It was a painful time, but I told myself, I will walk through this with strength. I will stand in the midst of this and be the best person I can be. Why? Because I knew in that moment that's what my mother would have wanted. My mother would not have wanted me to fall apart and act like a crazy person with no self-control. No, she raised me to understand what a woman of strength looks like, because that's how she lived. So when I was going through all of that grief, I had to tell myself every single day, all things will get better. Yes, I missed my mom, but I kept telling myself in the midst of all that pain, I kept telling myself, all things will get better. So when something is going on in my life, I see through optimism. So I'm telling you this: when something is happening in your life, whether you're in control or out of control of what is happening, please understand, you can see and walk with optimism. You can have a lens of optimism to see all things through optimism. Some people see things as being the end of the world when something happens. When something bad happens, it's like, oh, Lord, oh, this is bad, this is bad. Yeah, some things are bad. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't be human. But what I am saying is understand the bounce back. The bounce back is when something happens, you must be committed to bouncing back. You can acknowledge all things for what they are. You must acknowledge things for what they are. But in the midst of something negative, in the midst of a problem, understand the importance of the bounce back. The bounce back is when you acknowledge something for what it is and you stay on course to be positive. Why? Because your emotions will not change the situation. By worrying about it and thinking about it and carrying it on your back like a piece of luggage, it's not going to change the situation. The best thing you can do for your health and your mind and your spirit is to walk with and in optimism. Because if you do that in the midst of a circumstance or problem, You help yourself to feel better. You not only help yourself to feel better, but you also will help others to feel better. So do not allow a negative mindset to make you miss your blessings. Because if you are one of those people that are walking through society and just seeing everything through a negative lens, and you're judging everything and everybody without facts or explanations, if you have a negative perception about everything that's going on, that means you are constantly creating negative energy. And you don't want that. You don't want it. Embrace good energy, loving energy, caring energy, good things happening, blessings happening. Embrace the sun shining on you even when it's raining. Yes. You can do that. Yes, you can. And I know somebody might be saying, oh, that's a fantasy. No, it is not a fantasy. It is a reality that you are creating based upon your attitude. Because your attitude will determine your success or your failure. So don't allow a negative mindset make you miss your blessings. I cannot help but laugh while I'm talking because I feel such a sweet, joyful presence while I'm talking. And just to talk about something to encourage, to inspire, and to influence someone is such a fulfilling place for me personally. So everything that I'm saying to you, it's real. It's not a fantasy. This is real stuff. A changed mindset is a changed life. A changed mindset is a changed life. If you want to change something in your life, change your mindset about it. If you want to change your money, change your mindset about how you look at money. If you want more of it, change how you look at it. Yes, if you want more love in your life, change how you perceive love. Don't walk around thinking that everybody don't like you. Walk around thinking and knowing many people love you. We get to paint the story and the canvas of our life. How? By what you think, by what you say, and by what you do daily. That's right. Your life is a canvas. And people get to look at you to determine what is good and what is bad. So, be careful and be mindful what you think, what you say, and what you do. Because seeing with the lens of optimism is powerful. Why is it powerful? It's powerful because no matter what is going on, you're able to look above situations and circumstances and not into the situations and circumstances. You can see the other side and the results of something versus dwelling on the problem or the situation or circumstance. When something happens that's not favorable or good, you have to see yourself on the other side of it, already being resolved, already working out for your good. You have to see yourself as a winner. You have to see yourself already walking in absolute victory concerning whatever that situation is. You have to visualize yourself already winning. You have to visualize yourself already walking in the resolved problem. You have to see yourself that way. So don't allow a negative mindset make you miss your blessings. Maintenance your thought life and do all that you know to do daily to keep yourself up so that you won't be down. And when I say keep yourself up, I'm talking about staying elevated, staying encouraged, staying inspired. See yourself as already conquering the things you never thought you could conquer. See yourself that way. See yourself walking in all the blessings that you have imagined since you were a young child. See yourself walking in those blessings. There were times in my life I imagined and dreamed of doing certain things and having certain things. When I was a teenager, I had goals for myself, and I said, I want to travel to California, and I want to do this. And I have cousins. We used to talk about going to Hollywood and hanging out and doing all those things. And I used to dream all of those things all the time. And one day, all of a sudden, I'm in California. And yes, me and that same cousin, we sat in a restaurant in Hollywood. And we looked at each other and we said, do you remember we used to dream about this when we were kids? It's just a simple thing. But the point and reason why I am sharing this is because it was something that we dreamed and it was something that we did. So what I'm saying to you is this. Create the life you want to live by what you think, by what you say, and by what you do daily. Don't look at a situation or circumstance and think that you're in limitation. Because you cannot allow a negative mindset make you miss your blessings. See through optimism. Every single day, no matter what is going on, see through optimism. I pray that you have a good rest of the week. I pray that you are safe and that you are well, mind, soul, and spirit. Be absolutely 100% diligent about maintaining your thought life. And when you do that, you will see a better you. Thank you so much for tuning in to listen to SB Favorite Thinking Podcast. Please share this podcast with others. It is so important to stay inspired every single day. It is so important because when you stay inspired every single day, you will have something to smile about. Positive energy is better than negative energy because there is enough negative energy in the world. So, if you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavor@yahoo.com via email, or you can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Join and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click like, leave me some feedback there. And if you would like to subscribe to me anywhere else, you can find me on iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. SB Favorite Thinking Podcast is there. Share this podcast with others. And once again, if you would like to give to the podcast, you can give at Cash App, $ SB Favor, or you can give at Venmo at SB Favor. If you would like to give donations via mail, please contact me at sbfavor@yahoo.com, and I will provide information so that you can mail those donations to me. Thank you once again. Share this podcast with others. You have a good day.